October 28th, 2017, someone with the username QClearancePatriot posted in 4chan, a social media site, a thread titled, "Calm Before the Storm." The poster implied they held Q clearance, which allows for access to top secret information, most specifically related to nuclear weapons in the Department of Energy. The first post claimed that Hillary Clinton was about to be arrested, along with several other left-leaning figures for their role in child sex trafficking. The second post, just hours later, updated the reader. Clinton was, in that moment, being detained, but had not yet been arrested. Now, just to be clear, none of that was true, but the QAnon conspiracy blossomed quickly, nonetheless. Other prominent Democrats, favorite right-wing targets, even some moderate Republicans, were thrown in as the theory expanded. The Obamas, George Soros, all three Clintons, the Biden clan, Liz Cheney, Robert Mueller, John McCain. The underlying theme was that there is a worldwide liberal cabal, people who used to have power and who exploited that power for the purpose of abusing children, and that these people are about to be arrested, their secrets exposed. The world has been run by wildly corrupt politicians, but Donald Trump is now in office, has access to the truth, and will be taking them down any day now. The end is near, and a new world order is about to begin. The term "the storm" became code for a day when thousands of people who have infiltrated all our major institutions, from government to media to the arts to universities, will be taken down in mass arrest and maybe even put to death for their heinous crimes. The insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th was, for many, thought to be the day. When that didn't happen, January 20th, 2021, President Biden's inauguration, was next on the list. People called in sick from work, planted themselves in front of televisions alone and in groups, expecting to witness not just the arrest of Joe Biden before his swearing in, as was foretold by QAnon himself, but the collapse of the nation as we knew it, ready to be rebuilt in the spirit of our founding, with the royal establishment defeated once again. When that didn't happen, the goalpost moved. Election fraud would be proven in Arizona, which would topple the entire electoral system, now revealed as completely corroded. Trump would be sworn in March of 2021. The election audit over Governor of California was about to demonstrate how Democrats were manipulating the system. They even believed that John F. Kennedy and his son, both long dead, would appear in Dallas in November 2021 to announce the reversal of election results, putting Donald Trump in office and restoring the nation to democratic health. Now, I'm sure this all sounds kind of bizarre, and bizarre enough to just be ignorable, even as literally millions of people around the world, and yes, this is a global phenomenon, millions of people around the world believe it. And for the most part, ignore it we have. Even as it seemed to be losing traction, though, the entire story has now gained new supporters in the Democrats, as this conspiracy theory has attached to the Jeffrey Epstein story. Jeffrey Epstein, from what we know, was an unexplainably wealthy man, a New Yorker who hobnobbed with the rich and powerful, and was also, it's quite clear, a pedophile. He was known for hosting elaborate parties, some of which had teenage girls for the taking. He was friends with some of the people QAnon has been calling out, like the Clintons, Bill Gates, Prince Andrew, but was also at some time quite close to Donald Trump. Jeffrey Epstein was arrested for child trafficking and was found dead by suicide in his prison cell. You don't even need an instigator like Q Clearance Patriot. The conspiracy writes itself. With the Trump connection, far-right radicals, gripped by their fear of the deep state, and mainstream Democrats are unexpectedly on the same side, calling for a release of information that will reveal the true untold, institutionally buried story. In response, Republicans shut down the House of Representatives this summer and sent everyone home while the nation teeters on the edge of our seats in anticipation of a big reveal. Will the Democratic establishment be taken down in a wild fight for the nation's soul? Will our president be exposed as a sex trafficking pedophile who raped teenagers for fun on a billionaire's private island, thereby breaking the cult-like hold he has on millions of Americans, returning us to a land of milk and honey? I am not a fortune teller, and to be honest, how this story ends is less interesting to me than why it's gripped our collective imaginations. Conspiracy theories have been part of the human condition forever, as far as I can tell. We seem to be always scratching at the surface, looking for truth wherever we think it might be hidden. We live in great mystery. The response for some of us is to lean into religious myth, allowing those narratives to shape our lives. When I say myth, I'm referencing huge stories that are bigger than facts. There are often facts in the stories. I'm not suggesting otherwise. I'm saying, though, that the story is bigger than the facts. Religious myth is about truth. The stories are massive. They are the framework for culture over millennia. Living in great mystery is why we have religion. It's how communities face into big questions, how we grapple with answers together. Spirituality is how we do this alone. Religion is how we do this together. If religious mythology doesn't work, national mythology might. The story of a nation, the history, the structure, the language, the culture, offer systems for many people that they can abide and that bring meaning and order to their lives. Another way to find meaning or create the possibility of living within the mystery of human existence is to seek uncovered truth, accessible in our own time and place. We look for patterns. We look for hints or clues that will put us on a path leading to the information we need that will bring order to chaos. And sometimes this is just fun. I was particularly fond of this wave that was spawned by the book, The Da Vinci Code. Did you read The Da Vinci Code? It revealed the role of Constantine in Christian history, and it was very fun for me because I was teaching Constantinian history. I'd been teaching this for years, and yet suddenly, because it was revealed in this popular novel as a conspiracy theory, undergrads were filling my church history classes. They were like standing room only to learn what really happened. But when that impulse gathers steam and becomes part of a collective consciousness, conspiracy theories have proven deadly. They are a sign of a society that has lost its way, a society whose resilience has become compromised, allowing these viruses to move in. They spring up at any time people feel vulnerable or frightened or powerless. And as much as we know that this moment is that, we know those feelings have been present before and they've had deadly consequences. Conspiracy theories are comforting. They tell us there is a system and all we need to do is understand and dismantle it. There is a secret, and once it's revealed, we will be able to rest. Just scratch at the surface with your quarter, and the dusty silver powder comes off, and the prize is won. The conspiracy theories being told today acknowledge the brokenness of our systems, point to the difficulty or even the impossibility of life in this country and on this planet right now. And they promise a new world once we reveal the secret that will dismantle this one. To do that, we need to bring in an outsider, put him in power, give him access to the truth, let him do the things previously considered irresponsible or even unconstitutional, because how else is this going to happen? And then pull together as a group to support and populate a new world order. It's comforting. We can change things. We can right this ship, and we're doing it. It's almost done, just a few more steps. The people holding our current system together, the power brokers who seem to always be in control, even from the sidelines, are about to be thrown off their pedestals, thrown out of the halls of power, even arrested, maybe beheaded, and order and reason and truth and justice and peace and prosperity will return to the land. Conspiracy theories create new stories, giving the believers systems and secrets that bring order. The truth, I'm afraid, is actually more frightening than any of those conspiracies have imagined. No one is in control. There is no secret cabal. No one is at the helm of this world gone mad. We are alone. This isn't only true as it relates to QAnon or the Jeffrey Epstein story. This is the state of a nation with 340 million people, a planet with more than 8 billion inhabitants across close to 200 distinct nations, speaking more than 7,000 languages. I have myself envied the kind of attention this church and its previous ministers used to be able to command. But I have to acknowledge that John Haynes Holmes ministered in a city with 2 million people and 400 houses of worship. While today we have 8 million people and more than 6,000 religious spaces. And while there used to be a central position for the nation's religious leaders, technological advances have made that seem very quaint. No one is in charge, because we can barely hear each other talk. And we no longer have third spaces to meet. Home, work, church, this no longer exists. We are a society fragmented. And we tend to stay home and stare at screens and watch 60-second videos that can sometimes seem long. Or turn on the news with dozens of headlines screaming at once, making even the newscaster compete with their own scrolls. No one is in charge because we can't hear each other. From a handful of spokespeople just a few decades ago, we now have the voices of the masses constantly screaming at us, and each of us jumping up and down, trying to get even the people next to us to notice anything we do or say. In the meantime, it's close to impossible to find affordable housing, close to impossible to afford an education, close to impossible to access health insurance that doesn't leave us bankrupt while billionaires charge us more than they have to and use our money for lavish parties and multi-million-dollar yachts that poison our air and oceans and leave us breathless and broke. The world is chaotic. No one is in charge. It's no wonder at all that thousands, now millions of people have latched onto a system, a secret, a promise to bring order, to see us, to help us, to fix this. I can almost empathize with people gathering around social media posts and calling for their heads. It's easier, maybe more hopeful, to believe that there's a cabal, a deep state, a criminal enterprise keeping us down, a system the radical outsider will finally reveal and dismantle, that we will soon be free. Thank God for Donald Trump, sent to us to bring about our salvation, to return this nation to a former glory, to wrest us from the hands of a corrupt, power-hungry establishment. Conspiracy theories aren't rational, and there's no point in trying to talk someone out of one. They're emotional. They're faith-based. They're the last vestiges of hope some people have, and taking them away, providing nothing to replace them, borders on cruel. The trick isn't to use reason to convince people they're irrational. I'm not even sure being irrational is bad. The trick is to build something more enticing, more attractive than these conspiracy-based systems. The trick is to create places that don't require us to burn witches to help us feel safe. And while that might sound less compelling than a secret ring of sex traffickers in the highest seats of government, it is, I suspect, the very thing we need to stabilize and ground us. And as boring or complicated as it is, we need to do the real work of justice making, of dismantling the broken systems and building new ones that can, in fact, hold up this enormous country on this fragile planet. So, I'm sorry that I can't end this with a big reveal, with the one truth that will make everything make sense. Instead, I can assure you of one true thing, even if it's less satisfying. We're not entirely alone. We have the rare and priceless gift of each other. We may or may not take advantage of it. We may or may not always feel good about it. But it's what we have, and it's real, and it's not based on a secret or hidden truth. And while it might feel safer to know someone is going to take some huge action to save us, we are capable of taking many small actions, teaming up with the millions of other people also taking small actions of their own, so that over time we can together make real this world we dream about. And there's no secret about that.